to today's guided reading. This week we're going to read from pages 12 to 17, and then after we've done that we will do a vocabulary discussion and a predict activity. So last week we finished on page 12, and this week we're going to start with page 12 and read all the way up to page 17. Okay. Meanwhile, Hysteria carried on bewailing Scorcher being left out of the team. Perillus watched his sister somewhat scornfully. He came across to where I had perched myself beside the pool in the atrium. Latin, atrium, small courtyard. Every villa has one. Why do girls make such a fuss about everything? He asked. I cocked my head on one side and held his gaze. Why do boys like showing off? I asked in return. Perillus shrugged, so I told him. It's to get attention. Hysteria wails, and you go tightrope walking on your neighbour's washing line. People pay attention, and you're both happy. QED. That's proper Latin, that is. QED means quod erat demonstrandum, which is Latin for that Maximus Intelligentissimus Raven Croakbag has just proved what he has said is true, and it cannot be argued with. Okay, so it might not mean it in exactly those words, but it means it in spirit. See, like I said, us ravens are clever. Croakbag? I don't think so. Hey, Perillus, croakbag yourself. Gark! Perillus sighed. You like trying to be clever, don't you, Croakbag? I don't have to try, Perillus. I am clever. Corvus Brainus Giganticus. Tock, tock, tock. Well, I'm going across to see Scorcher, my boy announced. Crisis, who was busily winding a long bit of bandage round his left big toe, straightened up and glared at his son. Don't spend all day over there with that lad. He might be a fine would-be charioteer, but he's still an ex-slave. You should spend more time with boys of your own social class. Perillus reddened. Actually, Pater, I'm going to be a charioteer too. Pater, can you guess what that means? You know what Mater is, and after all, exactly. Well done. Pater means father. Aren't we getting along well? Have another biscuit. Now it was Crisis who turned red. You are not going to be a charioteer. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. When you finish school, you will come and work in my office alongside me. You should have seen Perillus's eyes. Glowing. That's what they were doing. Glowing like red-hot coals. I would rather be a slave than work in your stuffy old office, he yelled and stormed off across the road. My goodness, the boy does live dangerously, speaking to his old pater like that. But then that's Perillus for you. He's a real daredevil. Did I mention his tightrope walking? I think I did. But here's the story. On the other side of the road from our villa is another big house which is full of tenants. There's Trendia, the seamstress, and her lodger, Scorcher, and the inventor, Madus Bananas. I'll tell you about all of them later. In particular, and never to be forgotten or taken lightly, are Crabbus and his wife, Septicemia. They are the worst neighbours ever, and I wouldn't wish them on anybody. It's no wonder Perillus and I call them the Ghastlies. They are always complaining and making life difficult for everyone, especially the other people who share the house with them. So, the story. One day, Septicemia has been doing her washing, or rather her slave, Put-Upon, has been doing the washing, and she hangs it out to dry on a rope stretched from the Ghastlies' balcony across to Trendia's balcony. It's the washing line that everyone uses. Perillus is over there visiting Scorcher, who is teaching chariot racing tactics to the young lad. Scorcher is telling Perillus how important a good sense of balance is when you're being rattled about in a lightweight chariot. Perillus, being the daredevil he is, tells Scorcher that he has the most brilliant sense of balance already, and that he will prove it right in front of Scorcher's eyes. Next thing, Perillus has climbed up to Trendia's balcony and is stepping out onto the washing line, arms outstretched on either side, wobbling about all over the place. Can you believe it? Perillus actually manages to get about halfway along the washing line before the rope breaks. Down comes Perillus, engulfed in Septicemia's washing, and thrashes about all over the dusty yard. There we are. So we're going to finish the book there for this week. And then we have a vocabulary activity to be doing. So we're going to look up and write down the definition for these words. So the first word is found on page 14, and that's tenants. The next word we have is ghastly or ghastly, and that is, we're looking at this word because Perillus and Corvus call Crabbus and Septicemia the ghastly. So we're looking up what the word ghastly means. And the next word is on page 17, and that's engulfed. And the last word we're looking up is also on page 17, and that's thrashes. So you need to look up those words in the dictionary and write down a definition. Oh, they're the answers. Don't look at those. The next activity is to write a prediction about what will happen next. So, to help you write your prediction, I've got some questions here that might make you think about what will happen in the next part of the story. So, do you think Perillus will be okay after falling from the washing line? He's just fallen off the washing line all the way down onto the floor. So, do you think he will be all right? And the next question is, how will Septicemia react to Perillus breaking the washing line? How do you think she's going to be feeling if her washing's just fallen down into the dusty yard with Perillus? How will Septicemia react? And do you think Scorcher will teach Perillus how to be a chariot racer? So do you think Scorcher's going to teach Perillus everything he knows about chariot racing so that Perillus can also be a chariot racer? So once you've written your prediction, that's all we're doing